Live from Studio A, WTLK, The Thunder.
So it would appear that I'm at a loss for comic book news this week. I guess that's just how it goes when, I don't know, it's the week after San Diego Comic-Con, kind of when all the news shows up. But a little something, because History Comic Books Podcast released a new episode of The Classics, this one talking about Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which I myself have seen, and I agree it's a great movie. And also, you may have noticed that in your feed this is now called WTLK The Thunder. Well, that's because Thunder Talk and WTLK The Thunder have kind of sort of split entities for reasons that we'll hopefully get into next week. I'm still on both shows, definitely for sure, but this is technically a split that should have happened, or not should have happened, but needs to be happening. Yeah, whatever. Especially since, Thunder Talk's making moves that will hopefully be talked about soon, and WTLK The Thunder is starting to take on a life of its own, when really these were just sort of few minute little bits of whatever that I was trying to make, while we were waiting on the next issue of Thunder Talk last fall. And just can't stop. And I considered retiring this, now that Thunder Talk is now on a sort of constant roll. But I was just like, no, because the last thing I ever want to do is do this less, because I love doing this. And I love making all sorts of Thunder moves. It just sucks going back to reality after said Thunder moves. That's like coming down off any high, I would assume. But anyways, now that we have all podcast news and announcements out of the way, oh, by the way, just to say one more thing, for Thunder Talk, Lightning Lad will be creating a separate channel for Thunder Talk, and we'll let you know when and where and how to get to it. So if you still want to listen to this as well, great. If not, it was lovely having you as a listener, as a download while we did. And hopefully I can find ways to make this better and maybe get you to come back. But if not, well, I still love doing this. So, yeah. But anyway, we'll send you over to Thunder Talk as soon as that new channel is created. This new issue will be our 12th and thus averages out to once a month. So our annual issue, even though annual is usually a separate thing from main issues and comic books, but whatever. Yeah. So anyways, Saturday night, Smackville. It was a live event in Nashville that they may or may not have put together to compete with something AEW's doing, I think, maybe. I don't know. I don't rumor and speculate here. But it was a live event house show they were having in Nashville. And it was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ali for the Intercontinental Championship, which Shinsuke retained, of course, because these titles barely change hands at live shows. But it was interesting because originally it was supposed to be Nakamura and Finn Balor, who he won the Intercontinental Championship from. But apparently Finn has some sort of illness or something that he has to be out for. Hopefully he'll be all good in time for SummerSlam, and I'll get to that in a little bit because I don't think I've gone over the whole SummerSlam thing since it was pretty much all Comic-Con last week and Extreme Rules the week before. So also, Elias did his usual performance thing, which they did extra long, I guess, because it was in Nashville. And then KO came out, Kevin Owens, who's been the latest thorn in Shane McMahon's side. And Kevin Owens beat Elias on his way to SummerSlam, which again we'll get to in a little bit. And the main event was a triple threat for the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe and Dolph Ziggler. It was pretty brutal, but Kofi turned out the champion in the end, per usual. So that was Smackville. That was a good fun time. Lightning Lad and I watched it over some tequila and Sprite, I guess. I don't know. We had beverages. It was delicious. Even though we were both pretty pooped from the day, we still had it in ourselves to watch Smackville. Anyways, so I'm going to go over the SummerSlam card so far, since I don't think I had gone over any of it. So Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. Kevin Owens is the new sort of thorn in Shane's side, and he was like calling him out real bad. And it was definitely unscripted too. All reports say it was unscripted, and it was similar to a little CM Punk sort of thing that he did quite a few years ago, where yeah, he just tore down the McMahons and even shouted out New Japan, Ring of Honor, and even Ring of Honor commentator Colt Cabana. Like, that was real. So Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon are facing at SummerSlam, and if Kevin Owens loses, then he has to quit. And the story behind this is when Raw was in Toronto last August, that was when KO was in his heel phase, and after Seth Rollins beat him, KO sat in a chair and was just like, I quit. And then a few weeks later, he came back until he had to get double knee surgery and was out for until this past very end of February. Next up is Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Natalya, who ended up winning in a fatal four-way between her, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella. And surprisingly, because usually Natty and Naomi are the placeholders, so everybody thought it could either be Carmella or Alexa Bliss. But no, it was Natalya. But it also makes sense now because Canada is Natalya's home country, so there we have it. Though I gotta admit that Fatal 4-Way was just stupid because Carmella got squashed and then Alexa kept hiding and Naomi and Natalya were fighting each other, except they both hate Alexa, so you would think they would try to gang up on her and go ahead and get her eliminated before those two competitors who respect each other as people and friends and competitors just duked it out, no worries. But you know what? Maybe that's why I'm not a writer? I don't know. So anyway, Becky versus Natalya. Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Finally, Ember's getting a championship opportunity. Oh, and Charlotte Flair versus somebody because she was mad that she wasn't uh in SummerSlam because she's all like, I'm the queen. I should be like everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. I should be in every championship match, even though she kind of already is. Mercifully, this summer she hasn't been. So everybody is just bracing for how she just inserts herself into the SmackDown Women's Championship somehow. But apparently, I don't know, it sounds like she might get a separate feud with somebody. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Especially because, last year's SummerSlam, that was the triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship that she inserted herself into that was originally Becky Lynch and Carmella. And of course, Charlotte won that, which thus had Becky turn on her, and thus the man was birthed. Born, birthed, born. Also, next for the WWE Championship, a freaking dream match. Kofi Kingston versus Randy freaking Orton. So excited for this. Even more excited than I am for the Universal Championship, which is Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Yes, I know we heard that story before, but there are no automatic rematches, so they have to get a little more creative, if you can call it that, because there was like a 10-man cross-brand battle royal. One of them featured Big E, which just tickled me positively. But yeah, it was, and of course it ended up being the last four being Seth, Roman, Braun, and Corbin, and they all teamed up to eliminate Corbin, kind of like it should have been for Natalya and Naomi against Alexa Bliss, but whatever. Again, not part of creative here. And then yeah, Seth eliminated Roman and Braun at the same time, and then Randy snuck up on him because he wasn't eliminated yet. But Seth didn't get RKO'd, and he stomped Randy Orton and became the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. So we'll see what happens here. And also Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, maybe? I don't know. Like was it last Monday on Raw? Probably. But yeah, Samoa Joe was just talking smack about Roman's family, which we all know what happens to people who talk smack about Roman's family. Just ask Drew McIntyre. And so they had a match, and then Roman won. And then they're going to have another one on Monday, which Joe will probably win, and then they'll be like, Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe for SummerSlam. Yay! Which is cool. I mean, they've already fought each other and feuded once before, but I mean, this seems like a whole. Most of these matches seem like a whole 2017 throwback. Shout out to you, 2017. Also happening on Raw tonight is Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. And this is interesting because it'll probably be, Becky defeats Alexa to, put her over a little bit going into SummerSlam. Maybe Natalya interrupts because she's so mad at Becky for talking like a competitor. Or maybe Charlotte interferes and wants to pick a fight with Alexa. So maybe it's those two as her match on SummerSlam? I don't know. Because it wasn't last Tuesday. I think it was 2 Tuesdays ago. After a town hall meeting, Charlotte faced Liv Morgan. And Liv held her own pretty well. But Charlotte beat her and was just like, blah, blah, I'm the queen. You're not worthy enough. And then Liv said something along the lines of, coming back as a different Liv Morgan or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe we get another Charlotte versus new version of Liv Morgan for SummerSlam. Maybe we get Charlotte versus Alexa. I mean, I'm just saying we had September to May without Alexa in in-ring competition, so putting her in interesting new matches or new old matches like the two Bayley ones for Extreme Rules and Stomping Grounds would be neat. I don't know. I guess we'll see tonight and tomorrow. And you can catch SummerSlam August 11th for a $50 pay-per-view thing or on the WWE Network, which is $10 a month. So anyway, that was WTLK. I don't know. I'll figure out an outro. It's been another WTLK The Thunder on July 29th. August is almost here, which means football is almost here, which means fall stuff is almost here, which means Halloween stuff is almost here. And I'm going to keep saying that until fall stuff and Halloween stuff are almost here. So I guess I'll just borrow Thunder Talk's exit and say, bye.